Right now in prosperous Switzerland, hundreds of thousands of square meters of commercial space sit empty. Owners are losing huge amounts of money every month while queues form on the next street over. Why do perfect spaces remain closed when small businesses are ready to pay right now? Walk through Zurich, Geneva, or Basel, and you will definitely notice these empty storefronts. Behind the dusty glass lie ideal spots for a new bakery or a cozy beauty salon. But for rent, signs hang on the doors for months, and sometimes even years. From the outside, it seems like landlords have simply gone crazy and don't want to make money. In reality, the Swiss real estate market operates by its own very conservative rules. Large investment funds and private owners are terrified of the slightest financial risks. According to specialists, they would rather leave a space empty than let a newcomer in. And on the other side of this invisible wall are ordinary local entrepreneurs. These are talented baristas, repairmen, and bakers who dream of starting their own business. They have seed capital, a clear business plan, and a massive desire to work every day. But they completely lack the time and connections to push through strict bureaucracy. Finding their first space often turns into sheer torture with dozens of rejections. An entrepreneur sends application after application, but often doesn't even get a reply from agencies. Property owners simply don't want to waste resources evaluating every small project. A paradox arises: both sides have money, but they simply cannot meet. The landlord sits with an empty space and loses potential income out of nowhere. Small businesses are stuck in place, unable to open and start serving people. This is exactly where a very special and non-public player enters the local market scene. This is a specialized mediator between large conservative capital and active small businesses. This person takes on the hardest task: translating ideas into the language of guarantees. They prove to the property owner with numbers that a small coffee shop is a stable tenant. And they help the entrepreneur properly package their concept to pass strict face control. Studies show that a skilled mediator reduces a property's vacancy time significantly. For this work, mediators receive a solid fee by solving the main pain point for both sides. This is a hidden but incredibly profitable niche that only a few in the industry know about. How exactly do these people work, and why does almost no cafe open today without them? Let's take this process apart piece by piece to understand the hidden mechanics of Swiss streets. To understand the scale of the problem, let's look behind the closed doors of Swiss management companies. It seems to us that local business works like a famous Swiss watch, perfectly and without a hitch. But according to specialists, the commercial rental market is stuck somewhere in the last century. Most of the spaces in city centers are owned not by ordinary people, but by massive corporations. These are pension funds, insurance companies, and large family offices with billions in assets. For them, an empty ground floor space is just a row in a giant Excel spreadsheet. They are absolutely not interested in what kind of delicious croissant or coffee you plan to sell there. The main and only goal of such corporations is the complete absence of any financial risks. You could bring them a brilliant business plan for the trendiest bakery in town. But the fund manager will only see you as a beginner who might go bankrupt in 6 months. Studies show that evicting a debtor in Switzerland is a long and expensive legal process. It is easier and cheaper for the owner to keep the storefront empty than to deal with a problematic tenant. Therefore, they set simply unrealistic entry conditions for small businesses. They will demand a 6-month deposit, a perfect credit history, and flawless references. An ordinary talented barista or repairman simply does not have such papers. A wall of misunderstanding arises. Small business speaks the language of passion and cool ideas. And large landlords only understand the language of dry numbers, charts, and ironclad guarantees. And this is where our mediator comes into play, acting as a professional translator. They don't just look for a space. They package the small business into a format that corporations understand. According to one version, it is the correct presentation of documents that determines 90% of the deal's success. The mediator knows in advance what fears sit in the head of the real estate manager. They take the idea of your coffee shop and turn it into a strict 5-year financial forecast. They help to properly allocate seed capital to show your financial reliability. Sometimes the mediator offers the building owner a share of the profits in exchange for a discounted rent. For the landlord, this means that the risks are taken by a professional they trust. And for the entrepreneur, this is the only real chance to get the keys to their dream space. Moreover, the services of such an expert pay off within the very first months of your business's operation. After all, instead of knocking on doors for months, you start serving clients right away. But how exactly does the mediator convince the corporation to rent out the space without a massive cash deposit? There is one trick in this process that they don't write about in business textbooks. That very trick we mentioned is called a bank guarantee or an insurance surety. Usually, the property owner requires freezing 6 months' worth of rent in an account. For a starting coffee shop or beauty salon, this means tens of thousands of francs taken out of circulation. But a competent mediator knows that the Swiss system allows for bypassing this strict rule. They bring special insurance companies into the deal to act as guarantors for the small business. The entrepreneur simply pays a small annual commission to the insurers. And the giant corporate landlord gets an ironclad guarantee from a major financial institution. According to specialists, this approach immediately removes all objections from conservative managers. Your money stays with you to buy a better espresso machine or do a stylish renovation. And the space that sat empty for years finally gains a promising tenant. But the work of our invisible hero of the Swiss streets doesn't end there. A standard commercial real estate lease is a thick book full of traps. It can include fines for bakery smells or noise from hair dryers. The mediator carefully reads every single line to protect the starting entrepreneur. They ensure that the intended use of the space is clearly stated in the contract. You might be surprised, but landlords also love working with such professional mediators. Corporations don't need to hire a whole staff of analysts to vet every little startup. They get an already verified client with ready insurance and a transparent business plan. Studies show that such deals are cancelled 5 times less often than standard ones. As a result, absolutely everyone wins, including the ordinary residents of the city. After all, an empty storefront on your street isn't just lost investor money. It's a dark spot that lowers the appeal of the entire neighborhood and neighboring shops. When a craft bakery opens there, the street instantly comes alive and fills with people. People come for fresh bread, and at the same time, they pop into the flower shop next door. This is how small business triggers an entire chain of local economy, creating new jobs. But why then can't entrepreneurs directly approach the insurers themselves? The fact is, getting approval from an insurance company without a mediator is almost impossible. Insurers are just as afraid of risks as the owners of empty concrete boxes. A vicious circle emerges, where without connections and reputation, your documents won't even be opened. How exactly the mediator hacks this system of trust, we will see in one real-life example. Let's take a typical story of a girl from Zurich who decided to open her first yoga studio. She had a perfect education, a loyal audience on social media, and seed capital from her parents. But 4 different landlords in a row rejected her without even inviting her for a personal meeting. They saw only an empty financial history and a complete lack of business management experience. According to specialists, it is exactly at this stage that more than half of all aspiring entrepreneurs give up. But then an experienced mediator took up her case and completely changed the rules of the game. He didn't argue with the real estate agencies. Instead, he went to a familiar insurer. The mediator vouched for this project with his own reputation, which had been built over years. In Swiss business, reputation is worth much more than any beautiful presentations. If an expert says this studio will take off, the insurance company issues the necessary guarantee. With this paper, the mediator returned to the exact same landlords who had rejected her earlier. And suddenly, the closed doors began to open because a large financial institution had taken on the risks. As a result, the girl rented a gorgeous space with panoramic windows right in the center of the district. But the most interesting part is exactly how mediators find these vacant locations. You will almost never find the best commercial spaces on popular classifieds websites. Studies show that the most profitable properties are rented out without any public exposure at all. Large owners don't want to draw competitors' attention to their vacant assets. Therefore, they pass information about available square meters only to trusted brokers. It's a closed club for insiders, where information is passed along during a football game or at the gym. Our mediator has direct access to this hidden database of elite real estate. He knows that a space will become available months before the previous tenant moves out. This gives small businesses a massive head start to prepare all the necessary documents. While competitors are monitoring internet portals, our client is already signing the final contract. According to one version, this is exactly how the most successful restaurant streets in Geneva are formed. There are no random tenants there. Every business is carefully selected and placed in its spot. Building owners get the perfect balance between coffee shops, salons, and stores. And the mediator ensures that all these establishments complement rather than kill each other. It's like a complex game of chess where the stakes are the look of an entire Swiss city. But what will happen to this market next, given the rapid price growth and the rise of e-commerce? Is the conservative real estate market ready for radical changes in the near future? Now we can answer the main question we asked at the very beginning of our investigation. Spaces are empty not because of the owner's greed, but because of the giant gap between corporate bureaucracy and real life. Landlords sell security, while small businesses want to buy the opportunity to create and earn. And only a professional mediator is capable of translating an entrepreneur's dream into the language of guarantees and dry numbers. But what awaits this hidden market next, considering the world is rapidly shifting to online shopping? According to specialists' forecasts, classic retail will continue to shrink, freeing up even more square meters. This means that conservative real estate owners in Switzerland will have to change their strict rules. They will simply have to become more flexible. Otherwise, their expensive glass storefronts will remain empty forever. In the coming years, we will see a boom in hybrid spaces, where a coffee shop is combined with a flower shop or a workshop. Studies show that landlords will start looking for creative concepts themselves to bring their concrete boxes to life. And here lies the main practical benefit for anyone who is currently planning to start their own business. If you are looking for a commercial space, stop simply sending out dry applications on classifieds websites. Your first task is to create not just a beautiful design project, but an ironclad financial plan. Find an insurance company that provides surety for small businesses. This is your main trump card. Put together a portfolio that proves you are not a risky startup, but a reliable partner for years to come. If your budget allows, hire a local mediator. Their commission will quickly pay off with the saved months of downtime. Remember that the hidden market for the best spaces often operates only through personal connections and mutual trust. Don't be afraid to knock on closed doors, but do so with the right documents and insurance in hand. Every empty storefront you walk past today is someone's unrealized financial opportunity. And perhaps your business will be that very missing puzzle piece to revitalize an entire Swiss street. The Swiss economy has always relied on small businesses, which create the unique atmosphere of local towns. Large corporations may own the walls, but it is ordinary people who fill these walls with real life. Bakers, baristas, hairdressers, and repairmen, you are the true lifeblood of the local economy. Don't let corporate fears and bureaucracy destroy your dream of your own successful establishment. Learn the unspoken rules of the game, bring in the right people, and turn empty storefronts into centers of attraction. I hope this video helped you understand how the hidden mechanics of commercial renting actually work. Now you know the secrets that usually remain behind the closed doors of Swiss investment funds. Use this knowledge to take your first step into business confidently, quickly, and without unnecessary mistakes. Thank you for walking this difficult path of investigation with me to the very end. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new breakdowns of the hidden mechanisms of business and the real economy.